In 2025, Google AI overviews don't rank pages. They build the answers using 5 or 8 trusted entities. And the aim of the game is for you to be one of those trusted entities. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to structure your digital presence so that GPT search, Perplexity, and AI overviews source you and not your competitors. So we're going to be touching on what is Entity SEO. I know it sounds like another marketing sprinkle term, and it kind of is, but it is a useful one. And then how to structure your business or your personal brand to maximize this entity of yours to get source and to be the trusted source for your niche. Now, to best understand Entity SEO, what is this? I think you need to think about SEO as a bit of a conference, right? Now, traditional SEO will get you in the door to that conference, meaning good on-site SEO, good content and backlinks, so on and so forth. But Entity SEO is going to give you the microphone in that conference, so you are the guest speaker and everybody is looking at you. And that's what Entity SEO kind of does. It makes sure that you not only show up, but everybody's looking at you for the information. So what are the first steps here? Number one is getting recognized as an entity, and we need to do a little bit of auditing. If you can, you need to fix the consistent NAP, that is name, address, and phone number. If it's a local business, if it's your brand name, at least your name, your email, and your website need to all be consistent. You need to claim your knowledge graph, which we'll get into a second, and submit your brand everywhere. Now, there's a lot more things we need to do, but let's get to these right away. For this, we're going to use Perplexity. It seems to be a very good search engine, and you want to be a bit narcissistic and search for your name or the entity that you want to try and rank. So I'm going to say, tell me everything you know about the brand or yourself. So I'm going to put my name in there, Nicolas Gorroño. I'm going to copy this because let's do it on more search engines as well. Let's do it with Gemini, for example. And I'm just going to ask Gemini as well. And why not? Let's just go for Claude as well. Claude will probably have to make sure that it's got the search feature installed. All right, well, Claude doesn't seem to be working for me at the moment, but let's see what Gemini has to say. So Nicholas is a prominent figure in the fields of artificial intelligence and search engine optimization. Ooh, at least it's getting that right. Recognized for his work as an entrepreneur, educator, and digital marketing expert, the founder of Savity, AI Ranking Hub, perfect. So it's getting a lot of things right. I shared daily tips on TikTok. Doesn't mention too much about my YouTube account, which I kind of wanted to mention, but okay, not too bad. What about Perplexity? It obviously searches a little bit better, but it's getting a couple of things right. Content educator, SEO automations, consultant, speaker, community engagement, additional skills. Perfect, it knows that I'm from Chile and Australia. And it's also telling me that I'm an AI-powered SEO expert. It's grabbed some information. So I'm pretty happy with that. It seems that I've got some consistency in my own name, address, and phone number. In this instance, my name, my website, and what I do. So, okay, make sure you do that for your own entity. If it doesn't say or it's not explaining things as you want it, then you need to do some work and make sure all the information about you online is in alignment. Now, the next one is claiming your knowledge graph. Not everybody can do it, but if you can, it is extremely useful. I'm going to show you the differences between somebody who can't do that, like me, and somebody who can, who's just a much larger entity online, even about the same subject that I do. If I Google my name, all that comes up are photos of me, my LinkedIn account, and a couple of other links. Not too bad. But let's say the difference when I Google someone like Julian Goldie, another Australian, another guy in AI SEO, but he's a much bigger brand name, and power to him. He's been doing this for a long time, and he's really good at what he does. But the difference here is that there is a knowledge graph, and this is what's called the graph, the knowledge graph. And you can claim this, and you should. And if you do search for your brand entity or yourself, you should be able to click down here, and you can claim this knowledge graph. This allows you to understand and to make amendments. If the knowledge graph is incorrect, you can add the correct information. Extremely powerful, and one of these things that isn't talked about. Although you need to be somewhat of a bigger entity, as you saw, I'm not quite there yet, but I'll get there, to be able to claim it and to amend it. And to claim it, you need to get verified on Google, and then you need to submit your verification and a few other things. I'll leave links for this below for you to follow that. If you can, in fact, claim your knowledge graph, I highly recommend you do. Step 2 for optimizing for Entity SEO is building authority with content. Now, there is probably a million ways you can do it, but I'm going to show you one way that tends to work really well for our community members and at the moment for myself. And that's creating pillar pages and cluster posts around your themes. Let's break this down in another visual way. So let's say I want to be an entity recognized for traveling to a certain part of Mexico, Tulum, or traveling to Mexico. I can write a pillar page, meaning just a big, very helpful article about traveling to Tulum, and that would be indicated by the blue circle there. That's a blog post. And then all these other questions that I see here are additional blog posts. They might be a little bit smaller, but they're answering very specific questions. For example, how to get to Tulum from the UK. That can be a whole blog post that answers that in detail. How many days do I need in Tulum? I can probably answer that in another blog post. And I want to do that all the time so that not only Google, the search engines, but the large language models start recognizing your brand name or your entity with helpful information because you answer all these questions. Now, as an entity, you're going to be recognized for, when I think, or when the language model thinks about this entity, these topics come up. And that's how you really start building that trust and that authority. And you want to take it a step further. So that's traveling to Tulum, for example. I've got a main blog post here and then some supporting content. But you want to take it a step further. If I scroll out, then I want to do that for all the different topics and main pillar posts with supporting content so that it's all referencing about my entity. My entity knows a lot about all these topics. Now, with this specific strategy, the aim of the game isn't to rank #1 and get a lot of traffic for all these additional blog posts, but it's about telling the large language models and these AI search engines that you know your stuff about all this content. This increases the chances of you getting featured in the AI overviews. So you kind of need to write the content, even if you don't want to prove to the language models and the AI search engines that you in fact know your stuff. And number 3 is making sure you speak the language of AI. What I mean here, the fancy term, is that you need to implement the correct schema. And for the entity is the organization schema or the person schema, and ideally an FAQ schema answering all the frequently asked questions about you. If you don't know what schema is, it's essentially a bit of code that tells the search engines exactly and instantly what is on the page, and it can recognize this. The more optimized the schema, the better you will rank. Not only for Entity SEO, but for a lot of other things, but we need to think of schema in terms of Entity SEO as well. So here, for example, if I take a look at Julian Goldie's website about me, he does a fantastic job, but one thing that he's missing, obviously he's doing very well regardless, but I would do the person schema that is missing out of this to make sure that Google instantly knows this page is all about it. And a bit of an extra step here I would recommend is to try to be everywhere that you can. A lot of people try to just optimize for the search engines, and it's really not about that anymore. The aim of the game is to try to be everywhere all at once. Not only optimize for Google, for GPT by being on Bing, you want to be on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, absolutely everywhere, just so that your entity is easier to recognize because you are everywhere. It's trying to expand the quote unquote digital footprint. And now that you know about this Entity SEO and you know how to optimize for it, this is only one piece of the puzzle when it comes to ranking well with the AI search overviews. In fact, SEO tends to be evolving every single day, as you and I both know. So, and to prepare for this ever evolving world of AI search,
now I sound like an AI search engine, but never mind.
You should watch this video here where I give you 8 proven tips that will help you optimize for the new AI search engines.